It's all about Eli the last couple of days, and it will continue with all kind of layers on the Eli Manning demotion in New York with the Giants. And Sam Monson, Pro Football Focus, joins us here for a few minutes on Big Board Sports. Sam, Roger Weiland, Chris Honorado in Albany. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm good, Sam. Thanks. Let's just throw it out there. I mean, what is your overall thought about how this was handled, why it was handled, good move, bad move? Give me your thoughts here on what's going on in New York with the big story on the demotion for Eli Manning.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. I don't think Eli Manning's play deserves to have him sat down, and obviously he's been a fantastic servant for the Giants for years. You know, he has led that team to 2 Super Bowls, and unlike some other quarterbacks who have won Super Bowls, he was the driving force in both those games, you know, both those seasons. Certainly 2011, his play in the face of pressure was incredible. So it's a tough break to have him reach a point where they want to look at the future. But with the team in the situation it is, just 1 win this season, they do need to look to the future. And his play over the past few years means they can't be confident in him going forward for too long. So they've got to take a look at their options. And you know, I don't think that Geno Smith is a great option going forward, but they need to see what they have in Davis Webb as soon as they can. And ultimately that means Eli does need to step aside for them to be able to do that. So it's just a very tough, awkward situation for the whole franchise.
No doubt. If it were Davis Webb this week, I'd be a lot more okay with this decision, because they do need to see what Davis can do, and especially the 2-9 season. What about the future? What do you think is going to happen with McAdoo, Jerry Reese, and do you think that with everything that has happened, that Eli Manning could end up on a different team in 2018?
I think it's certainly possible. I mean, you know, I think there's a very real chance that they come out of this stretch of games having seen both these quarterbacks, Geno Smith and Davis Webb, and think our best option in 2018 is still Eli Manning. Now, whether they've damaged the relationship enough that they can still go back to him and say, we want you to be our starting quarterback in 2018, and he'll be okay with that we need to see. But I think there's a real chance that happens. You know, for Eli, I think he is playing well enough this season that he could still do a job for a quarterback-hungry team. You know, a team like the Denver Broncos, say, have a very good defense still in place. They've got a running game. They could use a quarterback like Eli Manning to just steer the ship. You know, the Jacksonville Jaguars, with Tom Coughlin down there, they've got an elite defense, maybe the best defense in the league. They've got a powerful running game. The only thing missing there is the quarterback. So I think Eli could definitely help out some other teams. The only question will be whether the Giants are going to let him do that or whether they're going to need him themselves in 2018.
Sam Monson with us here on Big Board Sports 104.5, the Team ESPN Radio. Check him out on Twitter at PFF_Sam, and of course all the breakdowns on ProFootballFocus.com. Sam, this is kind of a two-parter because I know you do a lot with players as they're drafted and look at how they may grade out as an NFL player. What did you think of Davis Webb when he was coming out of Cal, and do you think the Giants should use a top 3 pick on a Darnold, Rosen, or Allen in 2018?
Yeah, we weren't wild on Davis Webb as a prospect. He's a guy who had, you know, he looks like a quarterback. You know, he's a big, tall, statured guy, has the huge arm, but never really put it together over an extended period of time in college. Had a run of really good games, but didn't show this extreme length of quality play that you hope to see from these top college prospects. But yeah, he's a guy that I think you could potentially develop into a starting quarterback down the line. The problem is that they're going to need him to show it pretty quickly because this is now when they're looking. You know, he's a guy that may be able to take over from Eli Manning down the road. I just think it's very unlikely that he's able to do it right now. As for the rookies that are going to be the 2018 rookies, this draft class now, I don't love the top quarterbacks in this draft class. I think they all have major flaws. We've seen some really bad play from guys like Sam Darnold this year. Josh Rosen, I think, may be the best of the kind of conventional top prospects, but he's very hit and miss. He's a lot like Jameis Winston in terms of a guy that will make a lot of mistakes. He's a high variance quarterback. So in that situation, I guess he's a little bit like Eli Manning. But the best quarterback in this draft class, I think, is Baker Mayfield from Oklahoma. If he finishes this season the way he's been going, he will end the year with the top 3 single-season grades we've ever given a quarterback. So all 3 of them will be Baker Mayfield. That's better than Jared Goff's final season, better than Carson Wentz, Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota. It'll be Baker Mayfield 1, 2, 3. And I think he's just not getting the credit he deserves because he doesn't look like Davis Webb. You know, he's not a 6'5", 240-pound quarterback. He's closer to 6 foot. He makes a lot of things happen outside of the structure of the offense. He's an unconventional quarterback with a few kind of bad boy type red flags. But I think on the field, he's the clear leader in terms of quality of play.
Hey, Sam, one of the headline games is certainly from a regional standpoint up here in the Capital Region is going to be New England at Buffalo, and local product from Albany, Dion Lewis, over 100 yards last week, running back for the New England Patriots. Let me ask you about Dion a little bit, localize the story. Do you think right now that Dion Lewis is the Patriots' best running back?
I think so. I think Dion Lewis is a fantastic running back. He's obviously a guy that is a role player. You know, you're never going to give him 25 touches a game because he's just not built to withstand that. But I think this is probably the best season of his career, and he's making some incredible plays. He's broken 33 tackles on, just over 110 total touches. He's averaging 3.5 yards per carry after contact. He's got the second highest, what we call our elusive rating, which tries to kind of measure the impact a running back has after the ball is in his hands. So independent from the blocking and the pass to get to him. He has the second highest total of that in the league after only Alvin Kamara of the Saints. So, yeah, I think Dion Lewis is a fantastic back, and he's a huge part of that Patriots offense. And, as for whether he's the best guy in that stable, because they're so good at differentiating the roles of those backs, I think it's tough to kind of compare him directly to the other guys with the various different jobs they have in that offense. But he is a fantastic weapon to have.
Sam, one more here, and on the Bills, we saw Sean McDermott's experiment go so wrong in terms of going to Nathan Peterman and then going back to Tyrod Taylor at halftime. Where does Taylor grade out as an NFL quarterback? And aside from, I guess, maybe just simply the eye test, as we like to call it, is Taylor a guy that an NFL franchise can win long-term with?
Absolutely. Tyrod Taylor, I think, is a top 15 quarterback in the NFL. The problem is he doesn't do it in a conventional way. He's not going to put up 350-yard passing games. It's just not who he is. Tyrod Taylor is like a game manager plus. His thing is he just does not put the ball in harm's way. He has less turnover-worthy throws this season than Nathan Peterman did in 25 snaps. So Taylor just doesn't put the ball in harm's way, but he's efficient. He's a reliable, accurate quarterback who's efficient, makes plays, and brings that X factor with his legs that you don't get with most other teams. So what you need to do is build around him. Give him a defense that's a good quality defense. Help him out with an offensive line and running game and lean on that, and Tyrod Taylor can definitely win you games. But I think his problem is that everybody is looking for the next Aaron Rodgers, and when you don't have that guy, Tyrod Taylor's never going to be that guy. So teams give up on him, and they start looking for the guy who is, instead of just building around him and getting a team that's capable of winning with him at the helm, which I think they could easily do.
Sam, we appreciate a few minutes. Should be a fun weekend as we get ready for Week 13 and cruising through this season at a rapid pace. Thanks for coming on Big Board Sports this morning here in Albany.
Anytime, guys. Thanks for having me.